Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Jai Hind, Namaskar. So, I hope I am properly audible and visual to all of you. Good morning. So, I guess I am properly audible and visual to all of you. So, I welcome you all to this session. And today, the topics which we are going to discuss, let us have a look at this. The first topic which we are going to discuss about is about the Makkah Pact. You may have seen that over the last weekend on 7th of August, there was a deal which was signed between Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and uh, Pakistan, which was related, which is more of a defense pact between the three nations. So we are going to examine that why this has been there, what is there in this defense pact, and plus how it is going to benefit or how it has implications on the geopolitics of this West Asia. That what is this, why it has been there, and how it is going to how it is going to impact the geopolitical situation and defense in West Asia. Then we will also talk about this one part, that how it is having the impact on India. So that will be one thing which we will discuss. Then we will talk about the real test for Election Commission of India. That when we are talking about the Election Commission of India, there has been multiple questions about its credibility in the past, that how the Election Commission of India has been doing, why there has been certain allegations by the opposition parties. So this is one thing again which we are going to discuss here. And the third part will be with respect to the India-Israel relations. There has been a report by Amnesty International that India has been supplying some of the gears to Israel during this Gaza conflict. So we are going to see that perspective, that why India is helping Israel, plus the ethical question in that partnership. So these are the parts which we are going to discuss in today's session. Then, like last time I told you, that on the basis of it, we will have questions. You can write answers and you can upload on the KGS website also, or the application also. So let us start this. The first part being the new security triangle, including the Makkah Pact. So first of all, we will try to see what exactly is this. What is this pact? So we are going to talk about this Makkah Pact, that what exactly is this pact? What is this Makkah Pact? If we talk about this, this is a security pact. This is basically a security pact between Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, and Turkey. So these three countries are there, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, and Turkey. They have come with this one security pact, which is called as the Makkah Pact. Now, when we are talking about this one Makkah Pact, what we see that the official details have not been uh, disclosed yet, but there are certain parts of it which have come up. Okay, the full details, not yet in public forum. The full details of this are not yet in public forum. But what we see that when we are talking about this Makkah Pact, there is one thing which has come up, that it will have a similar clause. It will have a similar clause like NATO. It will have a similar clause like NATO. And what is that clause? A attack against one will be considered as attack against all. Okay. An attack against one country is equal to attack against all. attack against all three. So some of the people are also calling it that it is a Muslim NATO, like it is a NATO of the Muslim countries or Islamic NATO. So it has been also compared. It has been compared to Islamic NATO or Muslim NATO in the world. In the geopolitics, there is this comparison which is going on. Now the question is, why exactly have they gone for this? The first part is like, what is this defense pact we have seen? Then the question is, why they have come with this one pact? Okay. That the second part is this, that why they have come with that. What regions are there? What regions are there, that why the three countries, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan and Turkey, they have come together with this one pact? Now, remember this one thing. Pakistan is not the central focus. Pakistan is not the central focus of this pact. From our perspective, we are talking that Pakistan is there, but Pakistan is not the central focus of this pact. The central focus is about Saudi Arabia and its security. The central focus here is the Saudi Arabia angle. So what we see, why they have gone this, you may have been aware about the US-Iran conflict. And here we have seen that Iran, this one country, has attacked many Gulf nations. Many Gulf nations. Okay. And what we see that US has not been able to prove itself as a credible security partner. Okay. We see that there is a failure of US to prove itself as a credible security partner or security provider. We have seen that during this Iran and US conflict, Iran has been attacking multiple countries. Iran has been attacking the parts of Qatar. Iran has been attacking Kuwait. Iran has been attacking UAE. Iran has been attacking Oman. So multiple countries have been attacked during this conflict. And what we see that that US has failed to prove itself as a trusted or a credible security provider. So that is one thing which we see, that how it is impacting. Now at the same time, what we see that it's not about the present only. Even in future, US might not be able to replenish the gaps which have been created. US capability to fulfill the gaps in the Gulf region is limited. So you may have seen multiple media reports that even if US is working completely, then also it will take 8 to 10 years in order to fulfill that security gap, to have again those defense system establishment, to again have a security net for the Gulf nations. So what we see that in the near future, there is limited ability of US to emerge again as net security provider. So why it has been there? We see that in the near future, there is a limited ability. So that's why what we see that Makkah Pact, this Makkah Pact, it wants to create a deterrence for any misadventure by Iran in Gulf region. So the aim here of this pact is to counter any such misadventure or to create a deterrence that so that this Iran will not be attacking us, Saudi or other nations. So Saudi is trying to build its resistance, to build its counter in this region. That is one of the major goal as part of this Makkah Pact. So first we have seen that what it is, why it has been there. Now the question is how it is going to have implication. How it is going to have the implication. Okay. How it is going to impact. As part of this, we will see that Saudi is going to get extended support. Saudi is going to get extended support from Pakistan and Turkey. Okay. So what we see that Saudi, it is expecting to get security support from Pakistan and Turkey. Now from Pakistan, this can be in the form of soldiers. This can be in the form of man on the ground. Okay. Or it will be in the form of soldiers. And from Turkey, it can be in terms of weapons and technology. Weapons and technology. In fact, you may have seen that even when Pakistan was having a conflict with India, we have seen that during this Operation Sindoor also, or otherwise also, there was an active support from Turkey to Pakistan in terms of technology, in terms of weapons, okay, in terms of drones. So we see that they are going to supply that drones or technology or weapons to Saudi Arabia also simultaneously. So that is one thing which we see that how it is going to impact. Now the second part is we have seen that Saudi is expecting to get this security support. There is also a sort of a self-reliance, building self-reliance in the Gulf region. We see that it will also be about building self-reliance in Gulf region. Okay. We might see that there may be establishment of some of the new defense bases. There can be establishment of some new defense bases. Establishment of new defense production facilities. Okay. So this is one thing which is like a aim, which is like one of the aim of this defense pact, that it will be around like building that it will be about that building that self-reliance in the defense region. Okay. What we will see that it will also be helping in protection of critical infrastructure. This will be using protection of critical infrastructure. This will help in protection of critical infrastructure. This will help in overcoming the challenges of choke points. And we have got two choke points right now. One is the Strait of Hormuz and one is the Bab al-Mandeb. So we are having a Strait of Hormuz, which is there on one side, and then we have the Bab al-Mandeb also. That we are having these different choke points. So there can be the protection of critical infrastructure. And when we are talking about the critical infrastructure, it is with respect to the oil fields or oil wells. That is the major critical infrastructure in the part of West Asia. So it will be about the protection of critical infrastructure, overcoming the challenges of the choke points. Okay. Then there will be also this. We can say that it is also going to get the strategic flexibility. It is going to get strategic flexibility due to reduced dependence on US. On United States. So there is going to be a reduced dependence on United States, and that's why we can see that it is going to be again beneficial for Saudi Arabia. But then again, can it be a complete protection for Saudi Arabia? Like if we talk about, can it guarantee that security to Saudi Arabia? Look at this. On one side we have Pakistan, on another side we have Turkey. Do they have any such experience in handling these type of situations? Pakistan is continuously attacked by Afghanistan for that matter. Pakistan is not able to control its own domestic territory. And Saudi depending on Pakistan for getting the military support against Iran. It's like you are aware about the situation of Pakistan, that what is their condition. So what we see that again, this is not going to be like a more of a 100% security pact for 100% security pact for this Saudi Arabia. So despite this, what we see that we will see this one part, that despite this, Saudi will still be dependent. Saudi is still going to be dependent on what? Saudi is still going to be dependent on US. Okay. So we will see that still dependence on US will continue. Okay. Dependence on US is still going to be there. They are not going to be free from that part that US will not be there. Okay. There is also what we see that there is another fallout. There is another fallout, and we see that that will be escalation with Iran. There can be an escalation with Iran. So that is also one thing. Iran might also think about mobilizing some sort of that arrangement. So what we see that Iran might also go for similar arrangements. Iran might also go for similar arrangements. So Iran might also think about this, that if Saudi is having a pact like this, why will Iran not have it? Why will Iran not have it? Okay. So Iran can also work in the same manner. There can be involvement of Russia also in this region. So we see that again, this is having an element. This might be having an element of further instability in this West Asian region. Okay. So there is a potential chance of instability. A potential risk of instability. There is a potential risk of instability in Gulf. So this is another part, that while this is one thing which is going to help Saudi Arabia in certain matter, there are other risks which are also emerging from there. There are certain risks also which are emerging from here, which we can see in these forms. So this is for the Saudi. But when we talk about the implications for India, the implications for India, implications for India. The first thing is, it is too early to judge this. It is too early to judge this because the details are yet to be released. So what we see that it's too early to judge. It's too early to judge. We see that there is this part, it is too early to judge because the details are not yet there in the public forum, that what kind of pact is this, what kind of arrangement is this. So details are not yet in the public forum, so it is too early to judge whether it is beneficial for us or not. So it is too early to judge. Second thing, we also see that Saudi India relations are very good at present. Very good at present. Okay. And the thing is, I have always told you this one part, that economy drives diplomacy. Economy drives diplomacy. So if we keep that in mind, Saudi is not going to risk its relation with India because it is a economic relation. It is an economic relation. So Saudi doesn't want to risk that relation with India. Pakistan may offer it somewhat military support, but for its economic relations, it is dependent on India. Okay. So there is a very little chance that Saudi may not risk its economic relations with India. And the reason is economy drives diplomacy. Remember this one part, that economy drives diplomacy. Economy drives diplomacy. It is one such part which is always anchor in the diplomatic race or anchor in the diplomatic arrangements. So Saudi Arabia might not go for risking its economic relations with India. That is one part. Okay. Third thing is, when we are talking about this, the major focus of Makkah Pact seems to be about Gulf region. Seems to be about Gulf region. It seems to be about Gulf region. So that's why India is not having that much concern. India is not having that much concern. Second thing is, India's security concern. We also see this one thing, that when we are talking about India's security concern, it is something which is always led by the misadventures of Pakistan. We are not the one who are instigating the war. Generally, if you look at the entire history, you may have seen that India is not the country which is starting the war. We are always the finishers in that case. We are just therefore finishing the war, but we are not the one who are starting the war. We are not the someone who is starting this conflict or starting this war. We are the finishers in that case. Okay. So this is something, if we are talking about India's security concern, this is often due to misadventures of Pakistan. And we have seen this one thing, that Saudi is not very much supportive of it in the last 15 to 20 years. Okay. So we also see that Saudi Arabia has not been supportive of Pak's misadventure in last 2 decades. So now Saudi Arabia is not a very much supporter of this. So things have changed in the West Asia. Things have changed in West Asia. You may see that UAE and Saudi Arabia has emerged as a key partner of India in this region. UAE and Saudi Arabia has emerged as a key partner of India in this region. So we see that it's not that Saudi Arabia is going to be very much supportive of Pakistan's misadventure in India. So that's why our point is simply this, that it's too early to judge. It's too early to judge with respect to this Makkah Pact, that what may be the possible implications on India. Okay. So that's why it is too early to judge this. So I hope this one point is clear. First of all, we have seen this one thing, that what is this Makkah Pact, why this Makkah Pact has been there in the picture. Then we have seen that how it is going to impact in the Gulf region. And despite this Makkah Pact, what may be the challenges in the Gulf region. Then after, we have also seen that what may be the possible implications for India. It is something which is too early to judge. There might not be that much fallout on the region. If the conflict is between Iran and US, then why is Iran attacking on Gulf nation? If you look at the entire region of Gulf is like Saudi Arabia, UAE and others. They are the supporters of US. In fact, Iraq was once against US, but now Iraq is under the control of US. So Iran, what it is doing, it is strategically targeting those assets which are crucial for United States. It's not that they are attacking randomly the countries. Iran is strategically attacking those resources or those areas which are considered crucial for the United States. Like if there are certain oil reserves, if there are certain US companies there, if there are certain US defense establishment in the region, then Iran is attacking it. So Iran's attack is not just random. Most of the attack which is being done by Iran on the Gulf nations is with respect to those crucial assets, infrastructure or defense establishments which belong to United States directly or indirectly. So I hope that is clear why they are attacking. Okay. Now, so then let's come to the second topic. Let's come to the second topic. The second topic is about Election Commission. I hope the first one is clear to everyone. Okay. Chalo. So let's go for the second one. The Elections Commission Real Test. This is something which has been written by a former Chief Election Commissioner S.Y. Qureshi. So this article is written by, I will come to that question, Jayanti, answer writing वाले part पे last में आएंगे, ठीक है? I will come to your question on answer writing at the end of the session. Now, let's come to this part, the Election Commission. The Election Commission of India. Okay. You know that this is something which is a constitutional body. It is something, a constitutional body. Article 324. We see that this is something which is independent, independent and autonomous body. Okay. It is not under any ministry. It is not under any ministry or executive. This institution is something which has been provided by the Constitution, gets its power or functions from Constitution and parliamentary legislations. Parliamentary legislations. So it is getting its power from the Constitution and parliamentary legislations. It is not an executive body. It is not dependent on the government of India. It is not dependent on the government of India. It is an executive body. Okay. There are certain challenges with respect to its appointment. We see that there is a challenges. But once a person has been appointed as a chief election commissioner, the government cannot remove that person. It has to be done by a route in the same manner as that of judge of a Supreme Court. Okay. So the chief election commissioner, we see that the CEC can be removed in same manner, can be removed in same manner as Supreme Court judge, as Supreme Court judge. Okay. So we see that this has been given that much power, that much immunity. Okay. So it is also getting a immunity from executive influence. This is getting immunity or protection from executive influence. It is having that immunity from the executive influence. In fact, when we talk about the Election Commission of India, it is also having the reputation. It is also having the reputation of conducting free and fair election of largest democracy in world. Okay. It is also having the reputation of conducting a free and fair election of the largest democracy in the world. So it's not a simple ordinary organization. It is globally having that reputation that there is an Election Commission of India which has been known for holding free and fair elections of the largest democracy in India, sorry, in the world, largest democracy in the world. The reputation of Election Commission is like this, that if a person is defeated by just a few votes, by 1 vote or 2 vote or 10 votes, then also they accept that. It's not only about in thousands or 10,000s or lakhs. We see that in India, if a person is losing the election by just 1 vote in legislative assembly elections or even in the Lok Sabha elections, then also they accept it. So that is about the credibility, that is about the reputation of Election Commission of India. So this is one thing, that what is Election Commission of India and what is its reputation. But what we see that in the recent times, this is the part of the Election Commission of India. But we see that in the recent times, there has been certain challenges. There have been certain challenges, recent challenges. we see that there has been controversy with respect to SIR process in various states. We see that there has been controversy with respect to SIR process in many states. There has been large scale deletion of voters. There have been large scale deletion of voters. There have been a large scale deletion of voters. Then we also see that, then we also see this one part, that there has been a declining trust of the opposition parties in Election Commission of India. Declining trust of opposition parties in Election Commission of India. On what grounds? With respect to violation of model code of conduct, with respect to violation of model code of conduct by ruling parties. Announcement of new schemes just before the elections. Okay, we see that announcement of big schemes just before elections. Like, just to give an example, last year in Bihar, we have seen that there has been announcement of a scheme by the Bihar government just before the elections, that people will be provided 10,000 rupees. The women will be provided 10,000 rupees. And it was done in such a hasty manner that without any without any due consideration, without any such previous plans, it was announced just before the elections. And after announcement of the scheme, after disbursal of the money, then there was a sudden announcement of election. So in Bihar, we see that there was a scheme which was announced that 10,000 people is going to be given to the women. And that is one such example. In multiple states, there have been a similar level of schemes. And then it was just followed by the model code of conduct or followed by the announcement of elections. So that is one of the part where we see that the Election Commission of India is losing its credibility, when it is not taking actions against this. Okay. Now the thing is, when we talk about the Election Commission of India, what we see that if it is losing credibility, it means loss in the credibility of institutions. Remember one thing, when we are talking about India, we see that the political parties may come and go. Okay. There will be multiple political parties in the history of India which will be there. Sometimes they will be there in the power, then they will lose power. Today there is one government, next day there is another government. Like one of the very popular, famous and very important Prime Minister of India, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, has said this in the parliament कि सरकारें आएंगी, सरकारें जाएंगी, बस देश आगे रहना चाहिए, देश आगे बढ़ना चाहिए. So in the same manner, what we see that the government may come and government may go, but the country needs to be there. Country needs to move forward. Okay. There must be when there is a loss of trust, in Election Commission of India, it is about the loss of trust in the institution. It is not about loss of trust in a political party. Today, there is one political party. If people are losing trust in that, they will look for alternative. Tomorrow again, if the alternative political party is not working, people will look for third one. So if there is a loss of credibility of political party, it doesn't matter. A loss of credibility of a political party does not matter. But the loss of credibility of institutions matter most. It is something which is very much important for democracy. Government will come and go. Political parties will come and go. But institutions should not lose their trust. Okay. So what we see that loss of trust is something which will lead to erosion in the value of institution. Erosion in the value of institution. Erosion in the value of institution. So what we see that when we are talking about the Election Commission of India, it has to gain that trust of the opposition, not of the party in the power. Why? The party in power is already having all the resources. The party in power is already having all the resources. The one which you have to win the trust is the opposition. That even when the opposition is getting defeated, they are still saying that yes, there is no such challenge or there is no such problem with respect to Election Commission of India. So what we see that there is a need of that reassurance. So what Election Commission needs to do? Okay. What we see? What is the need of hour? What is the need of hour? The need of hour is first thing, reassurance to opposition parties. Reassurance to opposition parties. Okay. So when you are like, suppose that, let me give you an example. Let's say if India is going to play a match in Australia, let me give you an example of this. That if India is going to play in Australia and the umpires which are there, let's say they are Australian umpires. If India is going to play a match in Australia and let's say the umpires of the match are Australian umpires. So they will have to win the trust of Indian team or the Australian team. What will be their prime duty? Do they need to win the trust of the Australian team or the Indian team? The Australian team already knows that they are Australian umpires. Okay. They have to first win the trust of the Indian team. That no matter whatsoever, they have to win the trust of it. Okay. So this is one of the part that the opposition party has to, the Election Commission has to first win the trust of the opposition party so that they will not be able to blame them. So this is one of the part what we say that reassurance to opposition parties that free and fair elections. That there will be free and fair elections. Okay. No malpractices. No misuse of government, no misuse of public resources, by party in power. So they have to gain that trust of the Election Commission. Let me tell you, there is one question from Mahi Raijada that if the opposition loses the election, then they blame ECI. See, if you look at the last few years, you may see that this one narrative has been built. That the opposition is just blaming the political parties. But for that matter, you have to see the elections of the last 20, 30, 40 years, अगर आप सिर्फ लास्ट के कुछ साल के इलेक्शंस को देखोगे या मीडिया कवरेज को देखोगे, तो you may think that the opposition party is doing this. I have given you one example that in Bihar 10,000 rupees scheme was announced just before the elections, and soon after that, just after that, there was announcement of the elections. Was it fair? Was it fair? Now, technically it is fair. Technically, legally, model code of conduct is not applicable, so it is fair. But don't you think that it is going to influence the results of elections? So technically, legally, it may be fair. But morally and ethically, if we look at the politics there, then it is not fair. We cannot have an announcement of a major scheme like that where people are getting money from the government just before the announcement of elections. So we see that becomes a challenge, and this is where the election commission has to gain the trust of the people. Now look at this one part, the SIR process. If you look how the election commission has been working in the past, you will see this one thing, that the election commission has always been pro people. Election commission has always been pro people, not pro regulation. Of course, opposition could have also announced it, but the thing is, none of them should be announcing it, na? The thing is that none of them should be announcing it. Just before the election, no parties can announce such things. Just before the election, no party should be announcing anything like that. So it's not about just this like ruling party or opposition party. No one should be announcing it. You can like give that in your political manifesto. You can give it in your political manifesto that we will come with this scheme, we will come with that scheme. Political manifesto is other thing, and directly giving money is different thing. So if they would have announced, if the ruling party would have announced that we will be giving 10,000 rupees after election, then that was a different matter. But just before the election, people were getting money. So technically and legally, it is not incorrect. But if we look from the ethical and moral angle, then it is not fair. Now, what we see that there is a reassurance to the political parties which we have to do. Okay. Then there is also one thing, that there is always a requirement, equal access to ruling and opposing parties. Ruling and opposing parties. What is being discussed here, what we see that, like, what we see that the opposition, even if they want to complain about some of the negligences or some of the violations, they are not having that equal access to the Election Commission of India. So Election Commission has to be on that middle ground. And it is not about just today, it is about the future. It is not just about today, that what is happening today, which party is there in power, which party is not there in power. I told you one thing in beginning, political parties will come and go. Their credibility will go high and their credibility will go low. But the institutions must not weaken. Just example के तौर पे, how many people in India trust the police administration? No matter whatever parties are there in power, what is the trust of people on the police? And why police has lost its trust? आज एक पार्टी की सरकार होगी, कल दूसरे पार्टी की सरकार होगी. The parties will change. But the people's perceptions of police is not changing. Why? There is a lack of trust in the institution. There is a lack of trust in the institution. So when the institutions become weak, they lose their trust forever. It is very difficult to gain back that trust of the citizens. So that is also one of the reasons why the Election Commission of India needs to reconsider its position, or needs to be much more friendly towards the people and play an equal playing field for everyone. So this is also one of the part. equal access to ruling and opposing parties with respect to any complaints, grievances, etc. So that is also one of the part. The third thing is the Election Commission of India. It has to be pro people rather than pro regulations. The governance is not okay. The governance is not about the regulation. The governance process is not about the regulation. It is about the people. Why are we making regulations? What is the ultimate aim of making any law? What is the ultimate aim of making any law or any policy? The ultimate aim is to serve the people. So if regulations are not serving the people, if the regulations are not for the welfare of the people, if it is becoming a challenge for the people, then we have to reconsider it. So the regulations, the Election Commission of India has always been pro people rather than pro regulations. So if you look at the Elections Commission of India, like you may see the period of S.Y. Qureshi, you may see the previous election commissions, you may see T.N. Session for that matter. So there have been remarkable election commissioners of India. This is not the first time that ECI is there. Election Commission of India has got one of the finest examples of governance in the world. Why the Election Commission of India is having that reputation? When the Election Commission of India is conducting an election, it is seen not just by the country, it is seen by the election commissions of the world. They are looking at how India is conducting elections. The largest democracy of the world is conducting elections. So Election Commission of India has been able to gain that trust. So if they have gained that trust, they have to maintain it. So for that matter, they have to be more pro people rather than pro regulations. Okay. It's not about, it's not about that SIR process that it was, see, politics is different. Politics is different. If there is any process, anything, there will be a challenge to this. The question is, let me give you an example. SIR is a process which has not been done for the first time. SIR is a process which has been done multiple times in India. But when it is being done at a time when there is no such immediate election. Let me give you an example. In Delhi, there was election a few years back. In Delhi, there was elections in 2025. Now the SIR process is being conducted in Delhi. So in 2026, the SIR process has started in Delhi. And what we see that people will have a plenty of time. The next election is going to be there in 2030. So there is a sufficient amount of time. In Bihar, the elections were in 2025 and the SIR process was conducted just a few months back before the elections. And you know that if we are talking about Bihar, a huge chunk of Bihar population lives outside Bihar in form of migrants. So will they come back just for getting their name checked in the SIR? And if we say that the digital process is also there, how many people of India are able to send emails? Have you ever checked this? Less than 1/3 of the population of India is able to send emails properly. Around 20% of the people of India are having the ability to attach a file with email. And in that scenario, if you think that it can be done online, check the process once. That what is the process of registration in case of Election Commissions of India website. There are so many columns which people will have no idea about. So it's not about that SIR process should not be conducted. It must be conducted, but at a proper time. At a proper time. So when it is conducted just before the elections, there will be questions on this. There is always going to be questions on this. It is about the timing, about all other things like whose name got cut, whose name not got cut, who were added, who were not added. That is a different thing altogether. That is politics. So we are not concerned about the politics part. We are not concerned about the politics part. We are concerned about the institution part. That institution has to gain the credibility. The political parties will come and go. The institutions must not lose their trust. So that is the second part. What we see, that what is Election Commission of India, what has been the recent challenges with respect to Election Commission of India, and what should be done by Election Commission of India in the present times. So these are the two topics, okay, on the basis of which we will see some questions also. I hope it's clear. Always keep this one thing in mind. Why did the police in India has not been able to gain the trust of citizens in the same manner? See, there is just one thing. Look at the political parties in India. Today there is one political party. Tomorrow there will be another political party. Then after there will be another political parties. The governments will come and go. There will always be some political party in the power, some political parties in the opposition. They will always be talking about like opposite things. If party says A is right, the opposition will say that A is wrong. So this is always going to be there. But the institutions, if they become involved in politics, अगर institutions politics में involve हो जाएंगे, तो then they will lose their trust. Then they will lose their trust. So this is the problem. Institutions must not get involved in politics. Okay. So institutions are different, politics is different. Let the political parties fight among themselves, but the institutions must not be having the same option or doing the same thing. Okay. Now, coming to this third part, the third part is a strategic partnership which is facing an ethical question. So what is the idea here? We see that there is an institution called as Amnesty International. Now this Amnesty International, this is something which has said that around 2,596 shipments, around 2,596 shipment of military equipment equipments and components this has been sent by India to Israel. Around 2,596 shipment of military equipment and components have been sent by India to Israel since the time of this Gaza war. Okay. During conflict in Israel. During this conflict in Israel, that these many shipments have been sent. Okay. Now, it's not that there is a dramatic shift. This is not the first time. Okay. Remember one thing. This is not the first time. This is something. It is not a dramatic shift. It is not a dramatic shift. It is something which is usual course of action. It is a part of long time relation of India plus Israel. Okay. It is not a new thing. This is not that it has happened for the first time. We have seen that we have seen that it's not the first time. There has been active support by Israel to India at multiple forums. Okay. We see that Israel, when we talk about this, Israel, this has supported India. This has supported India during 1971 Bangladesh liberation. It has supported India during 1971 Bangladesh liberation. It is the one country which has supported India during Kargil war. During Kargil war. Okay. This is the one country which has also supported, actively supported Article 370 abrogation. Then Operation Sindoor. Operation Sindoor or other major actions by India against Pakistan. So it has always been supporting India against Pakistan. And this is one such country in the world which has which has not been supporting from the background. It has actively supported at the forefront. It has actively supported India at forefront during these major war. Okay. Now, what we see that at the same time, this has also been providing intelligence and weapons like Barak missile, Heron Mk2 drones. So we see that Israel is one such country which has always been supporting India. Okay. There has been technology transfer. Okay. Technology transfer, unlike the Western countries. There has been technology transfer, unlike Western nations. It has also been giving that technology transfer to India. Okay. It has also been giving that technology transfer to India. There is also co-production of multiple items between India and Israel. There is also element of co-production like drones, electronics, missile system. Co-production of drones, missiles, electronics, etc. So there we have seen that Israel has always been supporting India. Okay. Israel has always been supporting India. Okay. And now the question is that do we need to support Israel? Okay. Do we need to support Israel unconditionally during this Gaza war or during this part in Gaza? Now let us try to examine this. When we are talking about the conflict in Israel, when we are looking at the conflict in Israel, we see that there is a humanitarian crisis. There is a humanitarian crisis. There is a humanitarian crisis in Gaza. There is a humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Now the thing is, India is a democratic country. India has always advocated human rights. Okay. So here there is one question. Here there is one thing. India has always been an advocate of human rights, peace, and dialogue. India has always been an advocate of human rights, peace, and dialogue. That is one part of it. Okay. We also see that there is also one another angle. When we talk about this, India is also having India is also having a good relation and supporter of Palestine. India has always been supporter of two-state solution. India has been a supporter of two-state solution. Indian Prime Minister has said this. Not the present one, the previous prime ministers have again said this multiple times. Okay, that India has always been a supporter of Palestine. The Palestinian people must and should get their own country. So India is a supporter of two-state solution also. Okay, that they should have their own country. The Palestinian people, the Arab people in the Palestine, they must get their own place. They must get their own country. There is a two-state solution which has been supported by India. So in past, we have supported this cause in past, and even now, officially, we are still supporting that cause. Okay. So we see that on one side, there is a humanitarian crisis in India. On another side, we are also a supporter of Israel as well as Palestine. Okay. Now, there is a third angle, the third part of it. Okay. Third part of it is like this, that India is having a good relation with Islamic countries in Gulf. So here we are. Here we are. On one side, there is Israel, where there is a humanitarian crisis. But we know that Israel is a time-tested, long partner for India. Israel is a time-tested, long partner for India. On the other side, we see that we have been an active supporter of Palestine. And on the third side, we have to also balance our relation with the Arab countries, with the Muslim countries in the Gulf region. So there is a triangle. There is a triangle which is forming here. On one side, we have to manage Israel. On other side, we have to keep on supporting Palestine, and we have to manage our relations with that of this Arab countries in the Gulf region. So this is quite a triangle for it. Now, it may depend from people to people that what is your perspective, that if India is supplying, it is ethically right or wrong. So there is a question. There is a question between this, that ethical values versus national interest. Ethical values versus national interest. So, sir, can we not say that Israel supports India only because it has threat from Pakistan? Do you really think that Pakistan has the capacity to threaten Israel? Pakistan is having the capacity to threaten Israel. Israel, if it takes Pakistan as a target, Pakistan will not even have a moment to breathe. If Israel makes Pakistan their target, Pakistan will not have even a moment of breathing. They will not be attacking Pakistan. They will like finish Pakistan within Pakistan. You may be aware about the Mossad of Israel. If Israel will have a problem with Pakistan, they will end Pakistan. They will disintegrate Pakistan. So do not even think that Israel is like getting threatened by Pakistan. Pakistan has no such like capacity to threaten Israel. So don't even think that Israel is threatened by Pakistan. Pakistan has no such a standing in the geopolitics as or a threat to Israel. Israel will not even launch one single attack and they will finish Pakistan. Okay. So Pakistan is having so many inherent internal problems that if a country has to go beyond that ethical boundaries, Pakistan can be finished within some days or some months. Okay. So Pakistan can be finished within some months or some days if a country goes beyond the ethical dimensions. हम लोग क्यों नहीं करते? Because we have our ethical limitations. We have ethical limitations that we will not be interfering in the domestic politics. We will not be interfering in the domestic matters of any country. We have that one policy. But Israel is not having that policy. Is this US using Pak and Israel? नहीं देखो, US angle is different, Israel's angle is different. Israel was in favor of India even when US was not there. Remember this one part, when India and US were quite opposed to each other during the 1970s, when India was siding with Russia, when India was having that treaty with Russia, even at that time, Israel was in favor of India, not directly, but indirectly. In 1999, there was a direct support. Think about this, 1999 Kargil war. When US was against India, at that time, Israel has supported India. So Israel is different, US relation is different. Okay. Now, let's come back to the question. So here we have discussed the potential benefits and challenges associated with ethanol blending in India. Suggest major. तो ये क्वेश्चन तो आई थिंक सब लोगों ने लिख लिया होगा. आई डोंट थिंक दैट देयर इज एनी प्रॉब्लम विद दिस. You have to first give the policy part, that what is our policy or the facts related to this. पहले इंट्रोडक्शन में आप फैक्ट्स या पॉलिसी के बारे में बता सकते हो. सेकेंड पार्ट इज यू कैन टॉक अबाउट this one thing, that what is the potential benefit of it, potential challenge of it. Then you have to give measures, you have to also write government steps. तो चार चीजें यहां पे लिखनी है. First, the introduction. In introduction, you will give some basic facts. Okay. In the second part, the potential benefits, you will be telling about this one part, that what are the benefits with respect to this ethanol. Okay. Then, if we talk about the potential challenge, you will be writing this. Make subheadings. यहाँ पे subheadings बनाओ and discuss them and discuss points. Same manner, subheading, discuss points. Since the keyword is discuss, you have to first give the subheading of each point and then you have to discuss it. Here again, in the potential challenges, subheading of each and every dimension and then you have to discuss it. Then you have to give the measures, that what should be done. Okay, what should be done? The suggestion part. The suggestion part. You will mention it here. Then what you have to do is, then you can write a government steps. This is something which you can do in the form of flow charts. And then you can give the conclusion. Here you can suggest diversification of energy basket. Diversification plus technological upgrades. If you want, you can connect it to NDC or SDG also. Okay. So here, if you want, you can give about two things, that is diversification, which is needed, plus at the same time, the technical upgrades which are required in this ethanol. And then if you want, you can connect it with NDC or SDG, any one of them. So that is what you can write in conclusion. For today, we are having this question. आज के लिए ये दो क्वेश्चन है जिसका आंसर आपको लिखना है. Examine the implications of Makka Pact for regional security in West Asia. How does it impact India? ये पार्ट आपको लिखना है. The real test of election commission is to win the trust of opposition parties. In this context, highlight the recent challenges with respect to election commission and suggest measures. That is in 250 words. ये दोनों क्वेश्चंस का आंसर लिखना है. What should be written in government steps? You can mention that in the recent times, government has gone for the establishment of supply chains. Government ने supply chains को establish किया है. Government has also been promoting the second generation of ethanol. गवर्नमेंट ने जो बाकी पॉलिसीज लॉन्च की है इथेनॉल को लेकर, E85 और E100 पॉलिसी चेंज, यू कैन हाईलाइट दैट पार्ट ऑल्सो. अगर आप इंट्रो में लिख चुके हो तो देन तब आप स्किप कर दो, तब आप मत लिखो. In one of your lectures, you have talked about India has opportunity to export weapons to NATO countries because of rift of them with US. Will this not impact India's relation with Russia? We have to navigate. देखो, remember one thing, geopolitical relations are not 2 + 2 = 4. जो geopolitical relations है उसमें ऐसा नहीं होता कि हम आपके साथ हैं तो सिर्फ आप ही के साथ हैं, दूसरे के साथ हमारी दुश्मनी ही रहेगी. तो India has to navigate its relations with respect to US, with respect to China, with respect to Russia, with respect to Israel, with respect to other countries. यही तो डिप्लोमेसी है. You have to be friend of everyone and you don't have to be like a total supporter of anyone. You don't have to be in any camp. आप सबके दोस्त भी हो बट किसी के कैंप में नहीं हो. This is what you have to do in diplomacy. So that will be all for today. Let's meet in the current affairs session at 3:45 and then we will discuss the current affairs of the day. Thank you everyone. Take care and all the best. Thank you.